Welcome to this webinar provided to you by HEM Education Marketing Solutions on the topic of SEO and GEO, mastering the future of search in education marketing. And I know that's a kind of a grand title, but it's truly that, and we have a lot of ground to cover. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're glad you're here. My name is Scott Cross. I am the North American Regional Sales Manager here at HEM, so I oversee our clients in Canada, the US, and Mexico. Been with HEM for 7 years, and I want to tell you a little bit about us if you're not familiar with HEM. We are a digital marketing agency that focuses our work in the education sector completely. So we only serve schools. And in doing so, we serve all types of schools, big and small, public and private, career colleges, vocational schools, language schools, K-12s, and universities and colleges. We find that in each of these services that we offer on the side of the screen there, the biggest differentiator is that it's the education marketplace. The education marketplace. So it's unlike any other e-commerce tactic strategy in terms of attracting, engaging, and applying students to your school. So we offer all of these types of online digital marketing aspects, and we're happy to serve you if you feel you want to extend the efficacy of your team. So your team may be great in the inbound and content creation. You may look to us for ads or vice versa. That's how we roll, and we've been going for 15 years now. You see the little 15 baked into the HEM logo. So we're really proud of that, and we're happy to be with you today. A little bit of just details about what we're doing here. We're going to have you on mute for the duration of the webinar, just because I have a lot of content to get through. But please do ask questions via the Zoom menu bar Q&A option. So click on Q&A, type in your questions in real time. So right when they come up, whether it's 10 minutes in or 20 minutes in, and at the end, I will hop in and answer questions that are in there. But it helps to have them already there. That way, when I go to check, they just pop right up because they've been there all along. You will receive a recording of this webinar in your email, either tomorrow or Monday. And in that email, you'll also have access to the deck, to all this information that you're about to see on the slides. So no need to take notes. I see a couple of note takers. You can dismiss them if you want, because they're not necessary. But we're really glad you're here, and let's get started by looking at the agenda. And the agenda looks deceivingly simple. The current state of SEO in education marketing, key trends in SEO. And then it gets a little more interesting as we define Generative Engine Optimization, GEO versus SEO. Then we'll really get into getting our hands dirty with strategies to balance and apply both SEO and GEO. And we'll give you some information on tools to watch, to use, to monitor your progress in using these. And we'll wrap it up, as always, with some key takeaways. That's as simple as it's going to seem, because the rest of it gets pretty interesting pretty quickly. We'll begin with the current state of SEO in education marketing. So it's no surprise that we're going to begin by saying there has been a significant disruption to SEO in education marketing as a result of AI-powered search. And that can be AI-powered search through Google, where it kind of plugs Gemini in as automatically as a responder, or as, of course, of those queries that are going straight to ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, whatever it may be. That's transformed the search landscape. Keep in mind, SEO remains absolutely relevant. There have been some webinars we've seen the past few months that have said otherwise, that have really downplayed the value of SEO anymore because of AI. No, we really see a lot of value, as you'll see in the coming slides. In fact, 91% of organizations report that SEO positively influenced their website performance and their marketing goals. most specifically their marketing goals. So basically getting ROI out of the work you do for SEO, the work you do in your organic presence of your school. What it means is we're really tasked now and required to work in multiple channels across multiple platforms so that you're not just really strong in your website or really strong in your social. You're strong in both of those and in different ways and in multiple ways because you need to be visible to search, to social search, and to multiple types of large language models in AI. So it gets sticky and tricky. A big key trend in the SEO landscape today that we want to begin with is the reality of zero-click searches. These are searches where you see the two queries, one in Google and one straight directly into Gemini, and their question has been answered. So it's very likely they will close that window or close that folder and that tab, and they're done. They got their answer. They may not click as a result of this search, which is a mind-blowing thing to consider if you've been pursuing SEO for your, life up to now, right? That's the whole idea. So what you need to do as a result of that understanding is to optimize your content to appear as that answer. So you've got like SERP features, SERP, search engine results page. Features are rich results. Those are things like you see in that top graphic there, that the screen grab. Featured snippets, knowledge panels, AI overviews, those instant answers that Google can give you to your question. At the very least, you want to be seen as the source of that answer. So that's what you're looking at as your goal within the zero-click reality. Don't just give up because there's 0 clicks. You get a lot of props for being the answer to your Google search or the answer to the Gemini or AI search. So keep that in mind. And what you can do then to boost your school's opportunity to be visible in those search engine results page rankings. You can focus on long tail keywords and phrases that reflect specific queries. We're going to talk a lot about this, the way people are typing in their queries today. It's not just MBA program, it's top MBA program for managers or young executives, or really stretch out the context of each potential search of your prospective students. And as a result, you're going to want to develop informative and high quality content that lives on your website and that addresses the answers to these relatively specific queries. You'll be applying structured data markup to your web pages, which is also known as schema, to help make yourself visible in both those SEO and AI answers to those queries. You're going to want to optimize for mobile so that you're more visible, of course, on a mobile device. It also helps your visibility in the results of voice search. And you want to use location-specific keywords. So not necessarily just near me, but use the city or the area where you are, because people, whether they're in that area or there may be somewhere else in your area is more of a destination that they want, in which they want to study, you want to own that as a keyword or a combination within the keywords that you offer and rank for. And make sure that each web page has unique, descriptive titles and header tags, as well as meta descriptions. So debunking some myths, we've heard recent talk that meta descriptions are really no longer relevant, not necessary for SEO. That's overstated. Here's the truth and the detail in that. Meta descriptions have a lot less influence today than they used to in your SEO ranking, making you rank as position 1, page 1 in Google search results. So that much is true. What meta descriptions still offer you great value and benefit is that mini advertisement for your web page. Because when you do show on page 1, and whether it's position 1 or 2 or 3 of search results or wherever you show, that meta description right below the link is your way to stand out and advertise. So you still want to embrace that, because it could be the make or break decision maker as to whether they click on your link or another, as if your meta description really can stand out as helpful in that regard. Another key trend in SEO, which is really a trend that's ongoing, honestly, and that is building topical authority. You do so by providing comprehensive, high quality content, thoroughly covering your area of expertise, your categories that you teach, or programs, or whatever it may be. And you really are going to want to dig into the niche that you own and what makes your organization, your institution stand out in offering that program. How are you different? So you want to build topical authority by creating that in-depth niche specific content. And rather than just focusing on writing stories about your program or your students, focus in on things like, how are you different and why is that important to me as a prospective student? So to take that a little further, embrace your niche and your expertise and write about it. Create comprehensive guides on your unique approach to teaching and learning and student experience in that specific topic, and offer in-depth insights that address prospective students' questions. One second. You want to incorporate the EEAT attributes that Google uses thoroughly in its SEO measurements, and that is in your content, whether it's a program page or a blog page. You want to talk about experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. These are the things that you can communicate on your specific topics that are going to help you stand out to the others. And in doing so, you're going to be more visible in search results for SEO and AI. What that really looks at when you dig down, you've got algorithms like Google's RankBrain or BERT, and there are others. They're not just identifying a keyword and matching a keyword in your website anymore. They are analyzing user behavior, the person who did the search. They're analyzing that person's search intent based on the other words in their long tail request of a search. And remember, searches now are not just keywords, they're full sentence long questions with commas and everything. And these algorithms are going to interpret the context of that query. What truly are they looking for there? That's why it's important that you provide personalized, content-rich, context-rich, relevant search results that are designed to be useful and relevant to your audience, not necessarily bragging about you and not to boost up your team, your administrators or your teachers. It's not about speaking to your own community. It's about speaking to your prospective students, because that's going to help you be visible to answer questions in SEO search and in AI search. If you're familiar with our HEM webinars, you know that we ask you polls, questions from time to time, and this is one of them. They're anonymous, so we're not tracking who you are and how you voted, but we would like to know, how familiar are you with SEO and with what we're about to really dig into, GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. So please click and vote now. It's right on your screen there. Let us know how you work there. Reminder to type in your questions as we go along. Type them in the Q&A part of the Zoom meet. All right. We have a lot of you voting, and we have a lot of you being somewhat familiar with the basics of SEO, but haven't explored GEO much. So it's something you probably have heard of, and you really, it's perfect place for you to be, is to really dig deep into that topic, which is what we're about to do. So thank you for voting. That's great. Let's define it first of all. So generative engine optimization is really the work that you can do to optimize your content to be visible in the results or responses of queries on ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude, Perplexity, any of them really. And there are many. They all are working generally in the same direction in terms of you qualifying as a reputable source and being attributed in their query responses. So we have at least that much to go with, in that there's not a major difference in terms of what we're attempting to do to be visible and what they're doing. Because what they're doing is on the right there. They're extracting info from website content that applies to the context or the topic of the query. And then what it does is it combines content from multiple sources to create a single, structured, authoritative, concise response. Sometimes it becomes a bit of a narrative, but it's taking information from multiple sources and creating a single answer to the query. So it provides you that easy to digest and intuitive, in many cases, answer. That's how it's different from SEO. It's not just, here's a place that has the answer, click here. There's a place that has the answer, click there. It's more of, really kind of pulling from, as people perceive it, the brightest of the bright authoritative websites. So you want to be there. You want to be listed in among those brightest of the bright. So let's talk about how those work. To be visible here, you want to be part of that concise answer. And to do so, it helps that you write in a natural language, like in a conversation, that you write content to answer questions, not just what and when, but also especially how and why, as we were talking about before. So the how is particularly useful because it helps you to be that authoritative individual organization, not just one of many. And structure your content with headings, subheadings, bullet points, numbered lists. We can't say it enough, and I'm going to say it a few more times. This really helps to make your content more easily visible to these AI algorithms that are looking for this content to include a snippet of your information, not a big paragraph. We've been saying for years in teaching the writing of content for websites, keep it in small bits, keep it digestible, use headings and subheads and bullet points. And it's even more today, more impactful because not only does it make your content digestible to the reader, now it makes it more likely you're going to show up in AI search responses. And why this matters for you is because, of course, it can increase your visibility within those AI searches so that you're among the brightest and best providing that content. Consider also that AI is used more often now. More increasingly, your students, your prospective students, are using AI to do searches about their future, about the courses they should study, about the value and career paths of this diploma or that certificate. So you can write some of that content and provide those answers for them, which leads them ultimately to you. GEO optimization is key. It's really only leaning more and more in that direction. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. It's why we're here today. So initially, let's start with some strategies to help you better rank in those GEO queries. First, beginning with answered focused content. Write content to directly address or answer user queries. If you don't think you know all the questions that your prospective students are asking, hang out with your recruiting and admissions team and ask them about what questions the prospective students have asked in the past 30 days, 60 days. They're having these conversations on the phone, via chat, face to face. And this is a great resource to get what types of questions people are asking about. And when we talk about getting niche about it, before, when we talk about categorizing your blogs or your articles, you would say, let's write about benefits of a paralegal career. But now we want to dig a little deeper and talk about what are the benefits of becoming a paralegal in whichever country you live. Where are you, generating your traffic from, and where are they looking, or in a state or in a city, or at a school. So you can drill down in many ways here to get more niche. You see an example here of a query in Gemini and an attributed source, which is a blog that we provided for one of our customers. So it's not necessarily voila, that's simple, but this is how it works, and that's how you can appear for that. Staying with answered focus content, we say welcome back to our good old friend, the FAQ. So the FAQ was really leaned on, and rightly so, 10, 15 years ago, and it's a super tool. In fact, I talked with a school within the past week or two that said we had an FAQ years ago, but we've hidden that page because we don't think it's relevant anymore. An FAQ page is structured exactly like an AI query. I'm asking a long form question, a long tail keyword formed question, and I'm providing a concise answer to that question, a common question at that. So I would say expand your FAQs above and beyond more of the blocking and tackling or the logistics of applying. Include those, of course, but talk about your programs and your way of teaching and learning at your school in these particular programs. This is where you can show up more frequently. Again, here's an example of an FAQ being cited as a source of information on the response of an AI query. It's important to maintain authority and accuracy. So publish expert-driven career guides, research-backed insights, showcase your faculty expertise, and any earned trust or respect, awards, citations, accreditation. Don't just show the logo of the award that you've won, but write an article about what it is you offer that earned you that reward. And don't just write that once, write it again and again in different ways and how it applies to different programs you offer. And then put little snippets of that in social media to gain traffic to your website. It's all an intertwined web to help drive that traffic. But when you're thinking about GEO specifically, GEO rewards you for that authority and accuracy. So you want to make sure you're citing credible sources like government websites, research journals, educational institutions. So make sure that the facts that you're using to support your points aren't just some person's blog out there somewhere. Look for the most reputable content you can use in that base. And interestingly, this goes to that point we spoke about at the very beginning of going multi-channel, multi-platform, multi-network. People are doing their searches about these topics above and beyond AI and Google search, and even social media for that matter. They're going to Reddit, Quora. So it's important that you look to find opportunities to provide answers there too. We hear a lot from schools who say, we get a vast majority of our students from referrals, from person-to-person, face-to-face referrals. YouTube videos, Reddit and Quora chats and threads, LinkedIn posts and conversations and requests, those are today's version of referrals. Of course, they still happen face-to-face and in person, but there are so many happening right here as well. So keep that in mind as what we mean by multi-channel. It's not just doing Facebook and Instagram. It's about providing some answers to questions in places like Reddit and Quora, providing the kind of a Q&A type of a forum in YouTube and even on your social channels and Facebook to be visible in that regard. Another major strategy for GEO, which we're going to dig into deeper here, is structured data and schema markup. So generative AI relies on structured data to identify and extract relevant information. When AI looks at your website, it kind of looks at that unstructured data graph there, where to them, in terms of organizationally, you're all over the map. It can't tell really what's there. Maybe as you and I read this article or this program page, it makes sense to us. But as the data scrubber goes in, there's a lot of information in many places. So while the article on face value as we read it can remain basically in that conversational style, in the back end, you're adding schema markup that's going to help structure things like programs you offer, campus locations, job placement rates, student or graduate reviews, so that they are categorized as such and so much easier for AI algorithms to recognize and extract. We have some examples. So there are multiple types of schema that you can identify within the article itself just to increase its chances in being visible in SEO-rich results as well. But then you've got your FAQ schema, which enables frequently asked questions to appear directly as responses to a query. It's called a product schema, but you can think of it as more your course or program schema, which provides details of the products or the sub-products you offer, the price, availability, start dates, etc. Review schema of people's reviews of these programs, an event schema that can help to categorize the different events you might be hosting, whether routinely or 3 times a year, once a year. You want to get that as visible as possible. And the example is on the right that you can kind of spend more time in when you get the deck. You'll get this deck and the recording in your email Friday, Monday, perhaps. This gives you an example of a schema markup for a school's MBA program, for example. On the left is the actual coding that above and beyond, in addition to coding this content to be visible on the website, this is added coding that helps to specifically say, this is an educational organization. Here's the name of this educational organization. Here's the URL of that organization. Here are the specific courses available at the school. For this specific course, here's the title of the course. Here's an overview of the course. It really breaks it down, categorizes it, and then subcategorizes it, identifies it in each of those small little ways that AI is looking for the answer to that query. So we have a couple of resources on this page. In the bottom right, you can go to schema.org and see how this coding is done. It's something perhaps your own IT team can do. It's a service HEM offers. So if you don't have the resources on your team to be able to do it, reach out to us. We can help you with that. And in the bottom left, the Google Structured Data Testing tool, you go here and it'll allow you to plug in your URL and see what you're already qualifying for, if you will, when it comes to structured data. In many cases, you're already visible in structured data. Featured snippets, people also ask, that kind of SEO element, or in that case, it may also be playing over to AI, but it tracks more with the SEO Google elements. And that may be happening organically. So that means by adding the schema, you're just going to increase your opportunity to be visible here. So great resources there. I hope you take advantage of those. One last thought on the topic of structured data, because it's a very important piece of this puzzle. Focus on what users are searching for and ensure the content answers their questions effectively. It sounds simple, but you really kind of have to just make sure you're taking these basic steps correctly. Do it routinely. It's not just a one and done situation where you do it in January and you're good for the year. Have regular updates, routine updates each month, so you're constantly showing that you're engaging in that practice of being visible for answers to queries. And selective. I mean, of course, go to the topics that you own the most, or you are most proud of, or most best known for at your school. Start with your most popular pages and programs and go from there. So that's really how you can use your time most usefully to do what you can to at least engage better in this regard. Okay, time for audience poll number 2. So as we've kind of defined it a bit, I want to know how you feel about what challenges you face in optimizing for AI-driven search. So let us know if it's lack of knowledge, difficulty in structuring, maybe it's limited resources to implement both SEO and GEO, and or to ensure how to measure success. So let us know how you feel on that. Thank you for voting. I'm going to remind you 2 things here. Type in questions in the Q&A if you have them. So go to the Zoom Q&A and let us know if you have any questions as we go. And also remember, you're getting a recording of this webinar and the webinar deck in your email, either Friday or Monday. Now, as we look at the results here, most of you are kind of stuck on the limited resources to implement both SEO and GEO, and then the lack of knowledge about GEO and AI-driven searches. So I see that it's also across the board. There are lots of questions. It's really quite new. These next slides are really going to address exactly what you're talking about here. So I think you're going to be interested to see where we're headed. Let's go first to balancing, or next to balancing strategies of both SEO and GEO. Our team, when we were building this webinar, they built it in a way very much like you see it. And I was discussing just the internal need to have one screen that had the left side, which was SEO strategies, and the right side that was GEO strategies. And as I read through all of this, and of course we're all kind of constantly reading articles and going to online resources to learn more about this, well, that's just not possible. There is so much overlap. And I say that as really good news, because a lot of the work you've been doing and you're doing today for SEO is going to help you with GEO. To say that another way, GEO is an evolution of SEO. It is not a replacement. And while the world in front of us evolves, the e-marketplace for education, as it stands today, the work you do for SEO really is going to help you in a lot of cases for GEO. We've shown you already what specifically you can do for GEO, and now we're going to show kind of those shared strategies that really apply this to both situations. Let's begin. Again, these are things we've said before. Optimize content structure. Use clear headings. Use subheadings. Help search engines understand the hierarchy and relevance of your information. So think of it that way. That even takes it to a deeper context of, is what I'm writing in this article relevant, and is it useful to our prospective students and to the types of queries that are coming through? Incorporate bullet points and numbered lists and implement that structured data markup that we just talked about. So that's optimizing your content structure. Number 2, develop high quality, engaging content. Focus on user intent, that is the questions they have and what they want to know, what they need to know in order to go through their consideration phase. They're considering you versus other schools, and what can you tell them, your specific target audience, that helps you stand out as a great fit for them. This is going to benefit you for SEO and GEO. This is also where maintaining accuracy and authority plays well, because it will benefit you in your SEO and GEO, those reputable sources. And enhance that readability by writing clear and concisely, avoiding jargon, use short paragraphs, use active voice. So in this, you see the blog on the far right is cited as a source of the answer in the AI query. This goes to another one of our myths that I'm happy to bust, and that is blogging is not dead. blogging remains useful. Blogging or news article writing, whatever you want to call it, by constantly writing content and providing it on your website, think of it as articles that answer, again, your prospective students' questions that feature and explain the how and the why your program stands out in that consideration phase against other schools that offer similar stuff. Blogging is as relevant, look here, in AI search results as is in SEO. So that's an important thing to remember. Now, when it comes to balancing keyword usage with semantic understanding, we're talking about creating content clusters or topic clusters, because SEO no longer focuses on single keywords. They're focusing on greater context, broader topics, and more information about what we're talking about here. So instead of just writing about the digital marketing degree, we're talking about just the structure of your website overall, where you have a digital marketing program page on the website. So that's one. And then you have articles that you're writing about careers in digital marketing, salaries in digital marketing, the job market today in digital marketing, graduate testimonials. You're getting the picture. What we're going to do, especially for SEO here, this provides for the Google bots as it's searching, not just the one program page in its, as it's looking at your website to see what do you have on this topic, it sees a cluster of multiple pages coded together to be a bigger chunk. And that's going to make you more visible in the results of that search. We're talking about, when it comes to traditional SEO practices and combining that with GEO, maintaining keyword relevance while still optimizing for AI. So you see the strategy on the left here, we're using a mix of broad and long tail keywords. So for traditional SEO, we're talking about extending this to not just MBA programs, but put the descriptor before it, MBA programs in Canada, nighttime, online, executive, whatever you want to use. So that's your SEO approach. For GEO, you want to get into that natural question-based phrasing, which is, what are the Canadian MBA programs that have the best leadership courses? That is a longer tail keyword phrase query, and you want to be able to answer that question. Because that may be a common question, the type of question that your prospective student wants to know. You want to be visible as a source for that answer. And you want to ensure your content is optimized for both human readers, so for us, and for the AI-generated technobots out there. So you're working toward the metadata, the headings, the keyword density for the bots, and technically, it helps that your content is conversational. Go figure, even for the bots, you want it to be easy to understand, because the bots are trying to give the GEO tools here are trying to give answers that are also conversationally worded. So if you already have that conversationally worded, that's going to win for you. And it's the structured data, the Q&A format, the natural language that's going to help you stand out a little more technically. So that's another more specific way of how this works for you. We also want to be clear, because like I said, as we started this section, there's no one way and another way here. It's a combination of both. That short form content has a great deal of value in all of this, and long form content has a great deal of value in all of this, in both SEO and GEO. So you can't just lean to one or do just the other. The short form is going to be optimizing for AI generated search, for voice search. It's where FAQ plays a great role. And you've got an example where you just want to be asking yourself and answering those common questions that are in those searches. You want to include detailed and in-depth blog posts at the same time, because they reflect that authoritativeness, that thought leadership. You want to provide expert insights, again, citing really relevant and respected authorities, uh, case studies, research-backed data. What is your team, your instructors, your institution, what is it doing to move this category of teaching forward? That's really going to help to increase your visibility in both SEO and GEO. And also, that on that technical side, you want to integrate that metadata and that schema markup. Metadata for SEO, schema primarily for GEO, but there are also some SEO benefits to that schema markup as well. Titles and tags with concise, compelling summaries. Again, it's that mini advertisement for your website. FAQ is going to be visible because it helps provide featured snippets and people also ask type of results for SEO. And then it also helps you be more visible as a source of some of the information they use for GEO because it's in a nice digestible snippet that it can grab and place. Course schema, event schema. We've been through those topical elements to help do it and categorize it all by program type, by open house, whatever it may be, and they will lap over each other. So open house for that program type. And now we get into the specifics of optimizing for voice and conversational AI searches, in that when you're optimizing your website for mobile friendliness, it's going to translate or also apply to its ability to be an answerer or a source of answer for the voice search and the conversational AI searches. This faster loading time, responsive web design, it adapts to the different screen sizes, and then it also makes you more visible for the local searches, including the locations, maps, etc. And you want to ensure for the SEO side of things that the clickable icons on your website are visible, are sticky, so they don't scroll away from the screen as the people scroll. The little phone icon remains, and it's big enough that they could touch it and place the call. We not only want to be visible in the result that they click and come to the website, we want to get to that next step of capturing their lead, if you will. If they call, you're going to ask them their name, their contact information. You're going to start a conversation. That's ultimately where we want to go with this web traffic, no question about it. And toward voice and conversational AI searches, use speakable schema. And that's basically summarized sections of content that provide clear answers to common questions. So think of the content you write, and in creating it in schema, you want to write the text. You see in the bottom right, the text being the MBA program at XYZ Business School requires a bachelor's degree, GMAT scores, and at least 2 years of work experience. So you're providing an answer to someone's really likely query that is basically, what our school's going to require. So that's where you want to be, and that's very likely going to be a voice or conversational search that you can apply for as being the source to that answer. Now let's talk about content adaptation for AI visibility and structuring content for AI processing. So think of it as this way. AI models are scanning content in sections and prioritizing clear organization and easy retrieval. So it helps to kind of slow down and think of it in that way, that it's not just I'm writing big, meaningful, content-rich paragraphs that are communicating so much great information. It's actually going to be more valuable. You could have a long and involved blog that really gives a great deal of rich information, but you want to be sure to use short topic-specific paragraphs, subheaders, logical sections to this, and bullet points and numbered lists any chance you can. So it helps to, again, reiterate this in different ways. And we also recommend you include a summarized conclusion at the end of your article, whatever article it might be. That is going to really apply as your featured snippet or as your AI snippet. The part that the AI GEO element is going to apply into the answers of that ChatGPT search or Copilot search. So at the end of a blog, write that 1 or 2 paragraphs that can be grabbed and replaced there as that answer. We're running kind of long. We're near the end here. I want to give you 3 tools that you can use to measure your effectiveness in all this. The first one you have access to. It's your Google Search Console. If you don't have access to it, find it and get there. If you need help, please call us. We're happy to help. This is such a valuable tool as it measures your website in this degree. What search queries are driving the most traffic to our website? What is that traffic doing? Are they filling out forms and saying, hey, I'd like to learn more, or not yet, because you want that to be your ultimate goal? It can really help you to measure where you're being seen in search results. Is it on the map? Is it in featured snippets? Is it just in page 1, position 1, or is it in people also ask? So this is going to be able to tell you each of those aspects, and then what is that traffic doing? You've got tools like SEMrush, which are also super helpful. There's a free version. There's a paid version. Of course, the paid version gives you a lot more ability to drill down, get reporting, and get specific information about where do we rank in terms of organic keywords. And it also helps you to see what are other keywords in the category. So you want to really do that homework as well to see, and Google can help you with that as well. Google Search Console can help you to identify what are other keyword groups in that category. Ahrefs has a free tool that allows you to type in a keyword phrase or long tail keyword phrase, and then it'll give you some suggestions of other keyword phrases in that category. So that's another great tool. This shows Ahrefs' ability to help break down what your schema looks like and how it's breaking down. Is it categorized well enough, or is it not? Do you have work to do in terms of really improving that visibility in the schema world? What we have been looking for, which we have not seen yet, is a free tool that tells you how does your website show in AI search results. We're not seeing that yet as availability. Ahrefs and SEMrush have a little in their paid versions that can help you get a little of that, but we're not seeing that quite yet. And that's I think, the next place to go. So as you look at the key takeaways, a few things I want to remind you. You don't need to write all this down right now, because you're going to get in your email the slides as well as the recording of this webinar in your email either Friday or Monday. So I'll just kind of let these speak for themselves. We've really, I think, hammered those core elements and seen how they apply repeatedly in SEO and in GEO, which is really interesting. And we invite you to contact us. I'd love to hear from you to learn about what you've been doing toward SEO for the past year or years, what you really want to do and grow into in the future, and what are your plans for tackling that? We can help answer a lot of those questions to help maybe make things simpler for you. Hopefully this helped to make things a little more simple as well. But we'd love to provide that consultation clearly. Again, I know most of you are from Canada, the US, and Mexico, so I would be the person for you to reach out to. I'd love to chat with you and have that conversation. I have just a moment here left to go because we're running late. I want to expand this window so I can see if there's any Q&A in here. Okay. So one question, are you only in higher education marketing? We are not. We serve K to 12s, as you have inquired. Even a K to 8, yeah, we have clients like that as well. We serve vocational schools, language schools, all types, really any kind of educational institution we serve. So thank you for that question, Lisa. Curious if there's a way to add specific content to the Google Knowledge panel. Well, the the best way to do that is to the contact for a department. I would look to basically lean on schema for that, because that's information you can purposefully choose to kind of lay out what that is. I believe there's a schema category for contacts, so you could likely apply that to your schema to be visible in the Google Knowledge panel. I keep seeing unindexed pages on my site. Any tips? Teresa, that's a great question, and it's a much broader topic. So that would be something that I recommend you reach out to us. Shoot me an email. We can maybe get together and I can do some research into some of those unindexed pages. It's typically a matter of coding, right? And understanding, making sure the coding is complete on each of those pages so that everything is being seen by all those search engine bots. I have gone, plenty long for you guys, and I really appreciate you sticking around and being here for the whole time. I hope you found this helpful and useful. That's really our entire intent, and we're really glad that you spent this great amount of your day with us. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.